Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. Today we're going to learn how to play People Are Strange by the Doors. This is one of the Doors tunes that did feature a bass player playing the bass line and not Ray Manzarek on keyboard bass. It's got a swing eighth note feel. It's got a kind of quirky circus note theme going through it as well. Strange little song in some ways, but it's quite easy. So it'd be good for beginners, and it's fun to play through when you've got the parts together and put them together and play through the song. And it's quite short as well, so it's only 2 minutes 20, something like that. So it's quite quick and easy to get through and learn and put the parts together. Again, even though they used a real bass player on this, the bass lines are very arpeggio oriented. So kind of a good and interesting lesson in putting together bass lines using arpeggio notes. Now, before we go and look at the first section, if you're not already a subscriber to my free monthly e-zine, click the link underneath the video if you're watching on YouTube. Head over to my website, find the page that says free bass lessons. It's linked to on the right hand side of every page on the website. Go there, put your email address and your name in. As a thank you for entrusting me with your email address, you'll get a sequence of video and PDF tutorials delivered over the next couple of weeks, and then every month there's a song tutorial in PDF and video format. All this material is exclusive to subscribers, so you've got to go put your email in and subscribe to get that. So go do that, then come back here and we'll go look at the first part of the lesson. So the tune starts off with the vocal, guitar and organ, and the bass comes in on about the 20-second mark, the section where the vocal is When You're Strange. Just heard it played along with a little sketch track. We'll go through this first section, which is a 10-bar section. It's kind of strange layout. Normally in music, things tend to be divided into more even sections, 2 or 4-bar sections that repeat. What we've got is a 3-bar pattern that's repeated twice, and then a 4-bar pattern tacked on the end. So the first 3-bar pattern is something like this. And then that would repeat. So what we've got, and the thing you've got to watch out for is playing the notes very staccato. So the notes are on the beat, but they're not played and held, they're played very staccato. So the first bar, you've got B and F sharp, which is the 2nd fret of the A string for B, 4th fret of the D string for F sharp. Then you've got low F sharp, which is the 2nd fret of the E string, and then that octave F sharp again at the 4th fret of the D string. So then the second bar, you've got G, octave G, G, open A sharp. G, 3rd fret of the E string, octave the 5th fret of the D string. Then open A and A sharp, 1st fret of the A string. And then that 3-bar phrase is finished by repeating B and F sharp. So I'll play that 3-bar phrase really slowly. So that 3-bar phrase repeats, and then we've got a 4-bar variation of the phrase which leads to kind of the repeat of the chorus, which is where this kind of more like a walking feel as opposed to this staccato feel in this section. So the 4 bars that we're going to play are that last bar you can hear gets less staccato and leads to the walking feel. So what we've got, the first of these last 4 bars, so the 7th bar of this pattern, is identical to what we've already played. B, octave F sharp, low F sharp, octave F sharp. The next bar, the same notes, a slight rhythmic variation. So on the first time through, on the high F sharp, you're playing a pair of swung eighth notes instead of a quarter note. That pattern then repeats in the third bar of this 4-bar tag. So B, F sharp, low F sharp, octave F sharp, and then we've got the run that brings in the kind of almost the walking style section. That run is 2 B's, second fret of the A string, 2 open A's, 2 G's, third fret of the E string again, 2 low F sharp, second fret of the E string. So that 4-bar pattern, I'll just play that 4-bar tag that transitions from this section into the next section. Then that first note E is the root note of the next chord, which starts the next section. Okay, so you just heard the next section, which is the chorus, played with the sketch track. We'll go through it note by note. The first bar, so you've got low E, open E string of course, B, second fret of the A string, octave E, second fret of the D string, open D, and B, that last pairing. So, and the next bar, which is A, open A string, C at the third fret of the A string, octave E, second fret of the D string, then that last pairing is B and E, second fret of the A and D string. So that bar again. That bar's repeated, and then the fourth bar, which is B, second fret of the A string, D sharp, first fret of the D string, F sharp, fourth fret of the D string, and that run is E, B, E, B, second frets of the D and A strings respectively. So those 4 bars, I'll just play the 4 bars. Okay, then the next 4 bars are very similar. The 5th bar is the same as the first bar, E, B, octave E, open D, B. The 6th bar is the same as the second bar. The 7th bar is the same as that bar. And then the 8th bar, which is B, D sharp, F sharp, E, B. And all those note locations we discussed when we looked at the 4th bar of this section. So that then leads to the guitar solo, which is the next section we'll go look at. Okay, the guitar solos, another 8-bar section. Starts off with 2 bars that repeat. You've got B, F sharp, octave B, low B, second fret of the A string again, F sharp, fourth fret of the D string, octave B, fourth fret of the G string. Then you've got A and F sharp, which is the second fret of the G string, the fourth fret of the D string. So that pattern again. And notice those first 3 notes again are played staccato. So you don't hold them. To keep with the feel, you need to play them shorter. So the next 2 bars they're in E. E's the root note of the chord. The first of these two bars we've played before, which is E, B, octave E, open D, back to B. And the next bar you're playing this, which leads to the B. So you're playing E, B, octave E, D. This time I'm playing D at the 5th fret of the A string, not the open D string. That's because the next note is the open A string followed by A sharp at the 1st fret. If you play the open D string and then the open A string, then you've got to, which you can do by the way, then you've got to mute the open D string as you fret the open A string, or play the open A string rather. Of course you don't fret it. So for beginners it might be easier to play it. Okay, then the next two bars, bars 5 and 6 of the guitar solo, identical to the first two bars. B, F sharp, octave B, A, F sharp. And then the last two bars we're playing this. So we've got E, B, octave E, open D, B, stab on the open E string, and that sets up the next section, which is the 10 bar section, and is identical to the first section that we covered in the tutorial. So the next section that we need to go look at is the variation on the chorus that happens after that next verse section. Okay, after the next verse section, we've got the next chorus, which is similar to the first chorus but got some variations. We'll go through it bar by bar. First bar, E, rest on beat 2, octave E on beat 3, D, B, open D and B. Next bar should be familiar to you, next two bars actually. A, C, E, B, E, and that repeats. And then the fourth bar we've got a variation of what we looked at before. We're going to play this, which is B, D sharp, F sharp, B, E, B, E, B. Nice pattern that. Okay, the 5th and the 6th bar you should have already learnt in the tutorial. Fifth bar is E, B, octave E, open D, B, and the 6th bar is open A, C, E, B, E. The 7th bar is a variation of that pattern. You're going to play, which is A, C, E, B, E, and then the 8th bar, B, D sharp, F sharp, E, B, B. I'll play those last 4 bars just slowly so you can just listen to them and then correlate that with what I've just taught. And that leads to the last section of the tune, kind of a variation on the verse section where we have the stops and the staccato feel, but we don't have the stops anymore. It's another 8 bar section. Let's go look at that last section. Okay, this last section that closes out the tune, very similar to the first section we looked at, but without the stops. We'll play through it, or talk through it bar by bar. The first bar is just B, F sharp, octave B, back to F sharp, second and fourth frets of the A, D and G strings. Second bar, you've got G, D at the 5th fret of the A string, back to G, open A string. Third bar and the 4th bar are the same. You're playing B to F sharp to low F sharp to back to the octave F sharp and repeating that. The 5th bar, you're playing G, D, G, D, G. Okay, the 6th bar, back to the B, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp. That's also the same for the 7th and the 8th bars too. Watch for the staccato notes as well. And that's it. On the last chord, the bass just drops out and the last chord is sustained by the organ and the guitar, and the song finishes. So, as I said in the intro, it's a fairly simple song. You put the parts together, you're able to play through. It is kind of a quirky song, and it's one of those songs that's actually quite a lot of fun to play through. So, put the parts together and go through it, play through the song, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next tutorial.